Hello everyone, this is Jackie Williams and welcome to the Global Video Hop. This month we are focusing on Happy Mail. So I wanted to do a card that was very happy with bright colors, and I'm going to use the Fresh Cut Flowers stamp set and then pair it with the Good Feelings stamp set using the I'm Just So Happy For You image. So let's start with our card base, and I have a card base that is 10 inches by 5 inches. I do like to make square cards, and I also have then cut another layer that is just smaller than 5 inches, and that's about 4 7/8 by 4 7/8, and I have embossed that with the brick embossing folder. You can choose a different one if you'd like, but I like the brick. It's just very neutral, so it's a nice one to pair with flowers. Then I have cut 4 squares, and these are each 2 1/8 inch square, and I have chosen Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, So Saffron, and Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just going to adhere those onto my card, and I'm going to put them on at just a little bit of an angle, enough so it doesn't look like it's a mistake, but not so much that it is too distracting from the card, if that makes sense. Just a little bit, and I think you'll see where I'm going with this shortly. Then I have cut 4 squares in the same colors, just slightly smaller, 2 inches by 2 inches, and I'm just going to do the Coastal Cabana one with you, and the other ones I have pre-prepared. So I've got my Coastal Cabana ink pad, and I have the image from the Fresh Cut Flowers, this one here, which has got the daisy and some little buds, and I'm going to stamp that a couple times in Coastal Cabana on the Coastal Cabana, so we have a nice tone-on-tone look. Then it's really important here that your next step would be to clean off your stamp so it's nice and clean. And then I'm going to use my Emboss Buddy over the top just to make sure this ink is nice and dry. You could also heat it with your heat tool if you want to. Then I'm going to use my Versamark and ink up this stamp again. This is why we want to clean off our stamp. We don't want to put colors into our Versamark. They end up getting dirty enough all by themselves without helping that along. Then I will use some white embossing powder and just cover my image and then brush off or shake off any excess powder. Then at this point we want to use our heat tool and heat this up until the powder melts. Then we have one more step with this piece. I'm going to use a blending brush and my Coastal Cabana ink and just ink along the edges just slightly, just enough to give it a bit of a difference along the edge. You could do this first before you do your white embossing, but make sure that your ink is all nice and dry, and or use your Emboss Buddy very liberally. Now then, I've got my other 4 pieces prepared. We're going to adhere those onto our card, but this time these pieces I want to put on straight. So it's just the pieces behind that are on a little bit of an angle. So your flowers are all going to be straight. Next, we want to do our words, and I have heat embossed with white, the So Happy For You, and then I have cut it apart with my scissors and put dimensionals on the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and place those on my project where I want them to sit, and you can choose to have them kind of straight down the middle, or you can choose to have them a little bit offset. Now this happy, I want to put a little bit of string behind. So I have my white baker's twine, and I want it going that way. So I'm just going to use my dimensionals, have a little tail off of one end, create a loop, create a second loop. And I used quite a lot of twine here, got a bit extra. And then cut off the extra, and then I'm going to place that. I want the happy right there in the middle. And then you can play around with the twine. I might cut that a little shorter, and then place the rest of your words where you would like them to be. And then, although I didn't use the in colors with this project, I did find that these in color dots were just right. I didn't want anything sparkly, but even the Sweet Sorbet, some of the lighter ones, actually tone in quite well with the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to use a couple of those. Maybe use a dark one and a light one. And then we'll do the same with maybe just use a light one for the Granny Apple Green, and then I'll go for a dark one and a light one this is Tahitian Tide, and that's Coastal Cabana, but I think that they actually tone in okay. And these are a little opportunity to cover up any mistakes or imperfect bits that maybe happened with your stamping or heat embossing. And then inside, I've just stamped that same flower a couple more times and used another word from the Good Feelings stamp set. So there we go. Here's another version that I made earlier, slightly different color arrangement. I hope you enjoyed that and learned a few tips with using your tone-on-tone colors and your white embossing, and also another way to use your words so maybe they aren't quite as big or heavy by cutting them apart. So I hope you enjoyed that and enjoy the rest of the hop. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next video. This is Jackie Williams. Bye-bye.